Hello, this is RICKY, the Android guy. Hey guys, today I'm bringing another benchmark test, and this is of the Galaxy S4 Zoom. So this is a dual-core processor device that obviously doesn't usually generate the highest benchmark test, but let's see how it does. First, let's check out what's under the hood. So what this device has is a dual-core processor. It's an Exynos processor, so it's Samsung's own processor in-house, and it's a 4212, which is a 1.5 dual-core processor. In terms of the graphics card, it is a Mali 400, which is decent, but not obviously the top of the line by any means. In terms of the OS, it is Android 4.2.2. The screen resolution is what we call QHD, so it's 540 by 960. And you do have a display density of 240 dpi, with RAM ranging at a 1.5 gigs, so it turns out to be 1236. And as you can see, only about a quarter of that is really, or well, a little less than half of it is available. Your internal storage is normally 12.15, so out of 16 gigs, not bad. I don't have too much installed in it, but I do have put a couple things already in it, so it's taken up a little bit of it. And now let's run the first benchmark test, which is in 2.2. And for some reason that set off the camera, which I thought was interesting. So this was our last result, 15.302. Let's see what this one is now that we test it out again. Alright, so now that we have that completed, let's see where it landed. So, as you can see, this device does not land close to the top. It actually lands closer to the One X from last year and slower than the Nexus 4 of last year as well. So it's really comparable to last year's models in terms of hardware, it seems like, at least for overall. Again, let's compare it directly to the One X from last year. And so let's compare it to it. It's a slight victory on the One X's part, but it still is something that it does beat it at for the most part. Out of all these things, as you can see, the graphics is where the newer one will beat it, as well as the RAM. But in terms of CPU power and multitasking, the One X was actually a little bit higher in comparison, which is again interesting. And then to the S3 of last year as well, even more of a clear-cut victory. This one actually has better RAM, whereas this one still has better graphics, but you can kind of get an idea of how it compares. And now let's check out just the processor. So this one is just a processor test, and let's see how it does overall. First we'll check out the single core, then the multi-core, and then just the entire processor overall. Now on the multi-core, and now the maximum. Alright, let's see how it did. So this device landed again below the Nexus 7, higher than the original Note, but definitely again just not on the higher end between the devices. So not faring too well overall for hardware purposes. Now let's check out the graphics purposes. So this test mainly checks out graphics from first 720p display screens, 1080p, and then just the overall CPU and GPU. So as we can see again, this did not score amazingly high on it. So for this one we have a 3172. Which just to give you an idea of what ranks near that. A lot of them are usually maxed out for this, so doesn't rank too high up there. The 2372, again, what are the devices that are towards the higher end. A lot of them max out actually, so a lot of current models tend to max out with this. And then on the Ultimate as well, again, we have here 312, whereas they're getting over the 10,000s. So it's not going to be the best on benchmark. That's the overall assessment for it. It just doesn't rank that high up compared to a lot of other products out there. So you're really not getting this for the hardware features. For the most part, you're getting it more for the camera associated to it. As you can see, it's a little bit lower than this. And over here, we had the iPhone 5, the Tab 3, a lot of these older products, the Nexus 10 from last year, the LG from last year. So a lot of these devices from last year are going to be better than the processor and graphics overall. Well, hopefully you found that benchmark helpful. If you do have any questions about it, feel free to ask. This has been RICKY, the Android Guy.